Welcome to my 2025 tomato review video. That's one of my favorite videos in the year where I will walk you through all the tomato varieties I'm growing, how the yields are turning out so far, which ones I like, which ones I will keep, how they look on the inside, and whatever other thoughts I have about them. So let's get started. I'm Steffi, I'm a home gardener here in Attleboro, Massachusetts, Zone 6, and I love to take you along for the ride. So welcome to my channel. I also hope the audio is okay. We have like neighbors having friends over on the one side and some sports going on the field on the other side. So just in case you hear some strange background noises. How we go about it here, I will walk you through the different varieties. We'll go by tomato type, so start first with the heirloom ones, then the paste tomatoes, then the cherry tomatoes, and we'll walk ourselves through it. I'll also show you how they look on the inside. And yeah, you let me know if you have any other questions afterwards. And if you like this video, I would love for you to like it and subscribe. Thank you. All right, heirloom varieties. So this is at the moment my pride and joy. I gotta say, this is the Harvest Moon from Johnny's. I'm so glad I gave it another try and another chance after last year, because last year that plant did really poorly. But I love the taste so much that I gave it another try, and it is totally paying me back for the trust I put in it. This plant is currently loaded with similar sized ones like this one, and it is gorgeous. As you can tell, it is a yellow variety, and it starts out like it has like a greenish yellow. That's typically how I pick that. And then it starts to get a little bit more red veins. Wait until we open it, until I cut it open. On the inside, it has beautiful red veins on the inside. And what I love about it the most is not only its stunning outside, but the taste. When I'll describe all the tastes for all the tomatoes here, I will do my best here, because we all know it's a very subjective matter. But I'll try to use subjective terms as good as I can. But when we talk about taste here for this one, this tomato tastes for me like no other tomato I've tasted so far. It is very low on the acidity scale for me. It tastes almost like buttery creamy to me and not acidic at all. So if you like the acidic tang coming with a tomato, this one is not for you. If you're looking for a more creamy texture with a burst of tomato flavor in it, then you should definitely try this one out. And of course, I will link the varieties all in the description as per usual. As you know it from me, let's look on the inside. Do you see those stunning veins over there? Isn't it gorgeous? Let me do one more cut. In case you're wondering what I'm doing with all of the cut open tomatoes later, we're having tomato tart tonight. And yeah, just look at it. Isn't it pretty? It is really one of my favorite tomatoes. You can also see it's not super seedy on the inside, so it's a really perfect tomato for your buttery smooth tomato sandwiches in the summer. All right. Oop. Next one up in the amazing flavor department, and one of my massive ones as well, is the Cherokee Purple. This is like one of the, I think, most iconic heirloom tomatoes you can think about. It is really great in the taste department. It is gorgeous, beautiful, with this dark center, or with this dark color. It almost goes, as the name says, into the purpley color scale, and it is really nice on the inside. It is a little bit more seedy than, for example, the Harvest Moon, but it is a really delicious sandwich tomato. It's one of my favorite tomatoes to put on a massive sandwich, but I do anything else with it. So I'll can it if I have too many and can't eat them all. I use them for tomato mozzarella or whatever, right? So yeah, all the tomato things in the summer. The next heirloom is a cutie one, a smaller one, especially after we just had the massive ones, but it's one of my favorites because it is as pretty on the outside as it is tasty on the inside. And this is the pink boar. It is like between the Berkeley tie-dye, or pink Berkeley tie-dye I should say, and this one, they are almost similar in like taste and color scheme. Those ones are a little bit smaller. Sometimes I like smaller tomatoes, just a little bit better for the handling. So this year I grew the pink boar instead of the Berkeley tie-dye. So I like to switch it up every once in a while, but they are very, very similar to me. The only difference is that the pink boar is a lot smaller, and this one is as well a little bit more seedy on the inside. All right, a new one which I had this year for my heirloom tomatoes is the Mountain Merit from, I think it was Johnny's or High Mowing Seed. I will need to look that up. But this was a new to me variety. Sometimes I love to just grow a very classic, I should not say ordinary red tomato, but it's like just a very, very classic tomato shape and in color, to just mix it up a little bit. I gotta say the taste was ordinary as well, so it wasn't standing out for me. So those ones are most likely making it into sauce as well, because in the flavor department I have more attractive targets here to eat. But otherwise, and in terms of yields, I'll track all my weights and stuff, so I'll weigh everything what I harvest, and then at the end of the year we can compare. I'm very certain that the harvest moon will end up on top of it just by the sheer size of the mess of tomatoes, and it was loaded. The Cherokee Purple was relatively good as well. I think it will be on par with the Pink Boar, because even though it doesn't have as many, or even though it doesn't have as big of the fruits, it has a lot more fruits. So I think they will come out relatively equal. And the Mountain Merit was also not so great in yield so far, so that one is definitely lacking behind in comparison to the other heirlooms a little bit. So yeah, this one I don't think I will grow again. I'm relatively sure I won't. Again, my opinion, so don't take offense if that's your favorite tomato. So let's move on to the paste tomatoes. So I grew 4 varieties in the paste tomato varieties, and 2 of them are my forever grow, and the first is the Midnight Aroma from row 7. This is one which is not only stunningly pretty but also delicious, and I just love its color, and I use it literally for everything. Even though it's a paste tomato, I love to use it for tomato mozzarella things, and like anything where you want to show off pretty tomatoes in a setting with guests or so. So that is where I really love this one too. And yeah, it's just a really, really nice tomato. The only couple things I would say about it in comparison to, for example, my Plum Perfect, which will go next, is it is in yields okay. It's not great, it's not bad, but it's always one of the first plants which catches disease in my garden. Yeah, this year we'll have it a little bit not as dramatic as last year, although it's already going through in certain areas. I'll try my best to cut it out where I can, but there's clearly already blight in the on the plants, but it is what it is here, mid-August or end of August. That is just what happens in New England with our high humidity. But this one is always, unfortunately, one who catches as the first. And yeah, it's kind of sad. But other than that, the fruits are still producing, and I'll usually write it out until it doesn't want anymore. And when you look on the inside, it's a really, really meaty, deep, deep red tomato. And again, like super delicious, really delicious. All right. Next one in the paste tomato department is my other forever grow. This is the Plum Perfect. Name is the game. It's a perfectly plum shaped, unblemished tomato you can get. This one is in tomato power horse when it comes to yields, and also just like, yeah, yields, taste, everything, production. It's one of my easy to grow tomatoes. I'll set it and I would say forget it, but now I'm obviously harvesting it. But it is just the perfect paste tomato in my opinion. Produces very, very well. This year it caught a little bit earlier disease as well, but the seeds were old, so I'm not sure if that kind of has an effect on the plant health at times. Let's see next year when I get fresh seeds for it, but otherwise this is a forever grow with me, and as a good paste tomato, it has a very, very meaty inside. And the other one, which was a new to me variety, I accidentally planted that in the heirloom department, not realizing it was a paste tomato until I saw how it grew. Oh well, happens, right? This, and I probably butcher the name and not pronounce it right. I think it was Granado or Granadano or something like that. So, but as you can tell, also a very, very beautiful plum tomato. So this one is getting used in the sauces, very, very similar to the Plum Perfect. Although I gotta say, the yields from the Plum Perfect so far look better than with this one. This one started out strong, like they had a lot of yields on the bottom of the plant, but then it kind of tuckered out and the blooms didn't show up on the mid and top size anymore. I'm not sure what happened there. The Plum Perfect is a lot more evenly distributed with the fruit throughout the plant. And then the last one, which is one which I gave another try, and it's also paying me back for the trust I put forward into it. It is the San Marzano. I had it in that was actually one of my very first tomatoes I grew when I started gardening and really loved it. But then the year after, it was almost all of them got like blossom and rot and stuff like that. And it was disease. It was just a pain to keep alive back then. So I dropped it for a while, but then last year I grew it again and was actually just one plant, and that one did really nice. So I planted a few more this year as I had the seeds still around. And it has smaller fruit than I have seen it before, but copious amounts of fruit. So I'm curious to see how the yields will turn out at the end of the season for the San Marzano, because I do think it will end up in my top yielding ones, I think. When we look at this one, it is also not as seedy, but more a meaty tomato on the inside. Moving on to the cherry tomatoes. For the cherry tomatoes, I always grow only 3 plants, 3 varieties. One is my forever grow. This is also the smallest variety. This is my trusty, the Sun Gold. This is a taste of the tomato I'll dream all winter about to eat it again. So it's a forever grow. I just love it to death. And this is just, in my opinion, the most perfect tomato bite you can get in one bite. Great, great, great cherry tomato. If you haven't grown it, please do, and tell me what you think about it. The next one is a new to me variety, which I think is really, really cute, and I really love its shape. It has those orangey stripes. And I picked this one out for disease resistance after my tomato garden last year burned up in disease way too early in the season. So all of those new varieties I picked for this year, I picked with disease resistance in mind. And this was one of them. It's also a new variety from Johnny's. So like, check, 2 boxes, which I always love. I always love to try new things. So that was really good. And it was one of the most disease-resistant varieties Johnny's had in the catalog. I really love it. It got a little bit disease already, like everything else, but it's not on the forefront for it. So we'll keep an eye on it and see if it's truly more disease-resistant than the other things. But yeah, very pretty. From a taste, I think it's a good taste, but it's not outstanding. So that is one where I need to think about if I will grow this one again. So that one is maybe, I'm not sure yet. On the yield side, this took a little while to start producing. So as per usual, Sun Golds is always the first for me. Then finally our last one here, the Sweet Prince from row 7, was second in the ones who got ripe, and they were the third ones. But once they started, oh boy, they are not stopping. So they are cranking out yields which are comparing to the Sun Gold, and I'm curious to see how the yields will look at the end of the season. So we'll see. Great in the yield department, beautiful taste, meh, we'll see. So I'll let you know at the end of the season what my final verdict is. And then the row 7, the Sweet Prince. I was finally able to get seeds for this one. As you might know, I'm a very large fan of row 7 seeds. They breed their varieties for taste, and yeah, so far everything what I love, like the Midnight Roma, which we saw earlier, was one of the row 7 varieties. Huge fan. This one, I gotta say though, it is gorgeous, produces extremely well. It is the bigger of my 3 varieties in terms of the cherry tomatoes. I'm also not truly sure if it's classified as a cherry tomato. I just stuck it in because of the size in the cherry department. But the taste is not outstanding either. It is a good taste, don't get me wrong. It is very, from all of the tomatoes which we have on here, this one is probably the one with the most thickest skin, most firm bite. I let it sit on a counter for a very long time to see if it starts to soften up eventually. So far, they really stayed in this thick skinned setup. But yeah, taste is good, but not as outstanding as the Midnight Aroma, in my opinion. Again, let me know your opinion. But with that, I'm also not fully sure yet. The yields are great and I really enjoyed it so far. But again, like, I'm mostly growing it for either for paste tomatoes, like for my sauces, or for the sandwiches and all those tomato applications. So I'm not fully sure yet if I will grow this one again. So I hope this video was interesting to you. Let me know which tomato varieties you've been growing this year, which one you like, which ones you didn't like. I'm on the hunt for a few new varieties which I can put in my garden next year again. Otherwise, subscribe and watch another video. Thank you.